Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of the Marketing Guides for Small Businesses podcast. I'm Ken Tucker, and today I'm joined by Paul Barthel. We're missing Ian today. So, Ian, I hope everything's going well for you. Um, so, today we're going to talk about reasons why a business should invest in marketing in a down economy. I know a lot of businesses, their first inclination is to draw back on their marketing spend as they think the economy is starting to slow down or has already slowed down for them. But there are numerous reasons why you really should be continuing your marketing and maybe even doubling down on your marketing. So we wanted to kind of talk about what some of those reasons are, and then also talk about some of the tactics that we think are the most effective and cost effective to use in a down economy. So I'll go ahead and get started. I want to kind of talk about a couple of things. One is, one of the big reasons why I think you want to continue marketing in a down economy is it gives you the opportunity to stand out from your competition, and maybe even more so than ever, because a lot of your competitors are going to be deciding, hey, I'm going to stop spending money on marketing. They unfortunately, way too many businesses see it as as an unnecessary expense, if you will, which kind of blows my mind. But if you continue marketing and you continue, to invest in that, you can really improve uh, your visibility tremendously, and also, definitely differentiate your business from your competitors. It's just amazing to me how many people, their first gut instinct is, I need to cut my marketing. And honestly, we've seen businesses where that's the worst possible decision that they can make. And and those that do continue to invest and maybe even refocus their efforts typically come out on top of that. The other thing is, you want to do everything you can to keep your brand top of mind. you know uh, if your customers or clients, patients, whatever they may be, if they're feeling the crunch of a tough economy, they may be price shopping more than they ever have been. And your customer loyalty, um, in the past, only goes so far. And so if you're not continuing to market and stay top of mind, that all of that hard work that you've built you to build customer loyalty and trust in your brand can go away pretty quickly and pretty fast as people start to feel economic pressures. You don't want to risk that, so you definitely need to keep doing things to help keep your business and brand top of mind. And then, you know, now is a great time to just reinforce your marketing messages. Make sure they're crystal clear, make sure that it's obvious what you do, the problems you solve for your clients, and why they should choose your business over others. Um, when the economy gets tough, people, we've already seen, the increase in search happening just over the last several years, and so you definitely want to do these things to make sure that your business is standing out. Paul, what are your thoughts? What, you have any ideas on what things, reasons that businesses should continue to invest in marketing?
Yeah, it's like you said that for a lot of businesses, their first reaction is to cut back on their marketing, and you need to look at marketing as an investment, not an expense. And if the economy has slowed down and there's less availability, or less demand, if you will, you want to increase your visibility, not decrease your visibility. I mean, because if the economy is in a downturn and there's less demand for your product or service, then you don't want to decrease your visibility. That makes no sense. But the other thing is, staying in touch with your customers, remaining engaged with your customers, it helps it helps increase loyalty, and it gives you the opportunity, especially if your competitors are also pulling back. It gives you the opportunity to build these relationships with your customers, and to increase loyalty, and to stay top of mind with your customers, because at some point the economy is going to pick back up. And when that happens, if you've remained engaged with your customers, you're the first one they're going to call, or contact, with call, fill out a form on your website, whatever,
Right.
because you remain engaged with them. And I think it's a huge missed opportunity that a lot of business, like you said, it's a knee jerk reaction to, well, I need to cut back on my marketing, because they see it as an expense, not an investment. And that's a huge mistake.
Absolutely. I mean, if your pie's if shrunk, your visibility automatically shrinks along with it. And so, if you back off of your marketing, your visibility shrinks even more. And so if you think about it, if your competitors are stepping away from marketing, you can actually
That
have
gives you a huge opportunity.
it gives you a much bigger slice. So even though it's a smaller pie, you might have a much bigger slice. And that can be the difference between survival and thrive, or at least thriving, or just struggling and barely getting by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Another thing that comes to my mind too is I think it's a great opportunity to test some new marketing channels. If you haven't done a lot with social media, even though depending on the niche, and the type of business you have, social media may not drive a lot of direct business, but in terms of visibility, it's a necessary evil in today's world. And if you haven't really focused on maintaining visibility on your social media platforms, in a down economy, if you're not posting and sharing content on a regular basis, people might make an assumption that your business is either not doing well or is no longer in business. Especially if they wind up doing a search, they land on your profile, and you haven't posted for 2 months or even 6 months, or God forbid longer. um, they're going to fill the void that you've left, probably with something negative that you don't really like. So you've got to keep focusing, and it's an ideal time to experiment because there is less competition, and so your experiment is probably more likely, by testing out a new channel, to give you stronger results than in normal times when you may have a lot more competition on that particular channel. So yeah, I realize, your dollars might be tough. You definitely need to do this, with a well thought out strategy to support why you're making an investment in a new channel. But absolutely. And the other thing is, capitalize on changes in customer behaviors. When, we've got examples from just a couple of years ago when COVID first had its big impact on the economy, and the economy really shrank, and a lot of people were really concerned about what was going on. um, Customer behavior dramatically changed in a couple of ways. One is, they started to do more online searches because they were going to go look to see if somebody was open, first of all, because the world shut down to a large degree. Second of all, supply chain drove scarcity in a way that we haven't seen in this country before. And then also, we saw people getting to the point where they just wanted to go online and book an appointment, or schedule a reservation, or schedule an estimate. And it transformed everything into really a virtual world. And while that may be relaxing somewhat to a degree, um, many of those behaviors haven't changed. And so if you haven't embraced that, if you haven't set up an automated booking calendar for your business, that's one of the biggest things that I've seen makes a heck of a lot of sense for almost every business out there because customer behavior or consumer behavior has absolutely changed. The other thing is businesses that did okay or even thrived, they did so because they stayed in contact with their customers. And many of their customers wanted to help out those businesses even more because everybody knew it was tough out there. And so, just pay attention. And as we've talked about, already, as Paul mentioned, building those relationships with your customers, is really a great way to help your business survive a difficult time because you're building champions and people who are going to advocate and fight for you. And that can be a huge difference maker.
Yeah, and the COVID showed us just how vulnerable just-in-time inventory can be, and we're still dealing with that. But
Yeah.
one of the things is if there's a downturn in the economy, that it's a good opportunity to step back and improve your SEO. And this goes back. I touched on this. This goes back to increasing your visibility. If there's less demand, you want to be more visible, and uh, it could be a good. And you touched on this a little bit. It's a good chance to improve your ROI because if your competitors are pulling back, and you make a little bit of investment, your return on investment is going to go up, and that can put you in a position to where the economy does pick back up again, which it will. You could have leapfrogged your competitors. You could be in a great position to dominate in your market. And also keep in mind that not all of your competitors are necessarily going to pull back. They may see the same opportunity and say, hey, this is a good chance to actually make an investment and pull ahead of my competitors. And if one of your competitors does that and you don't, you're never standing still in anything. Okay, you're moving forward or you're moving backward. And if one of your competitors decides to make an investment and you don't, you can find yourself in a bad position when the economy does pick up. You may find out that some of your competitors have really moved ahead of you because you decided to pull back. So, and when it comes to SEO, maybe have your marketing agency, your web people, whatever, work on the technical stuff, work on the structured data, put some content out there, optimize that content. You do things that are going to make you more visible because it's it's not just going to help you in the short term, it's going to help you in the long term, and it's something you should honestly be doing anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about a story that Donald Miller talks about from StoryBrand. When the economy started to take its downturn during COVID, they made their living at that point in time in the world of StoryBrand, as a company, by hosting in-person events. Well, those completely stopped. And, so they quickly recognized that and pivoted to delivering virtual events. And, they found that they could save a lot of costs. They still had great participation rates. And actually, they were able to do more and they were able to actually make better profit margins, even charging less money for a virtual event because nobody wanted to pay the same amount of money for a virtual event that they were in person. The cost of delivery went way, way down. Likewise, I think about a lot of the home remodeling contractors that we were working with. You know, one of the big things that costs home remodelers and home contractors a lot of money is drive time from one estimate to the next. And, to the extent that they can pre-screen people or do some things virtually to make sure it's a good project for them. The client thinks that it's a good project for themselves as well, and so it's a good fit. Now, when you're driving across town, Obviously the price of gas has gone up, and so that's an increased cost. But the time that you're in your vehicle going from point A to point B to get to that next estimate or appointment or whatever, is costing you money. You're not being able to bill for that. And so you look for opportunities in a difficult economy to improve your operations. It could be inventing new products to sell, or it could be finding new ways to deliver your best products and your most in demand products. Again, another thought is restaurants, they really up their game, by providing delivery services where maybe they hadn't before, or providing, outdoor seating in ways that they never really had before, to be able to capitalize on that. And in my mind, those are kind of, those are the equivalent of, using new channels to get your products and services out through. They may be not marketing channels, but they're doing new delivery processes. And so you absolutely want to take advantage of those things and quickly recognize those. Um, we live in a world where, you it may not be comfortable, but you need to be prepared to pivot and change pretty quickly as the times change.
Well, and the other thing, make sure that your business information is correct, especially if you have a location that people come to, like for instance, a restaurant. If someone goes online and they find your business information and your hours of operation are incorrect, and they take the time to drive to your business and you're not open, that irritates people. And that's a really bad thing. So, make sure that your business information is correct.
That's a great point. I think a lot of businesses forgot to do a lot of that, um, because they modified their hours. A lot of restaurants, and a lot of in person types of businesses where people go to those businesses, they don't have as broad a range of hours as they used to have. They may close early on a particular day, so maybe Tuesday afternoons, maybe historically a slow day for them. They've decided to close their business on that day, or it could be because they couldn't find workers to staff the store. Um, yeah, absolutely. I mean, maintaining your business information. We talk about the name, address, and phone number information a lot on this show. That's critical, but don't forget about the operational types of information that need to go on your business profiles, your Yelp profile, your Google business profile, on and on and on. I mean, there are so many of these different directory sites. Any place where customers can get bad data and information about your business, is going to have an impact on your business one way or another, whether it's SEO or whether it's just perceived by the particular customer.
Yeah, and if you've been in business for a while, you kind of get set in a certain way of doing things, and I think sometimes businesses forget that your clients are getting younger. Okay, you've been in business for a long time. They have a different mindset. They're going to go online. They're probably not going to pick up the phone and call you. They're going to go online. They're going to fill out a form. They want to text message you, and that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, the longer you've been in business, you know people get old and they die, and your clientele is getting younger and younger, and they engage with businesses in a different way. It's this whole social media fad. How long is that going to last? That kind of thing. They're going to engage with your business. Let's say you've been in business for 20 years. Okay, that your customers now are going to engage with your business in a much different way than your customers 10 years ago did.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. So let's kind of pivot here now, and let's start, Paul. Let's kind of discuss, what we think some of the best marketing tactics are, for small businesses to really use to be able to take advantage of, the money they have to invest in marketing in a down economy. So I'll get started. First thing off, you've got to invest in marketing strategy. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody wants to rush past it. Huge mistake. You need to either you need to carve out time to work with a company to build a marketing strategy for you. As we talked about, there are new and different channels that are out there. You need to look and see what are your competitors doing. You got to find the soft spots, in what's going on in terms of your competitors that are going to create your opportunities. You need to look at, what potential threats are out there that are going to impact your business, and you need to make all of your marketing decisions more so than ever. And strategy is always important, but more so than ever in a down economy. So I know people don't want to skip it. I mean, they want to rush past it and skip it. You really shouldn't do that, because you're you may the classic thing is you'll do a tactic here, you'll do a tactic there. You may get a little bit of incidental business here or there. Maybe one of those tactics happen to work pretty well for you in the short term. It's still not cost effective, and it's not driving the powerful results that you really need on an ongoing sustainable basis. So, with strategy, in my mind, content marketing is still one of the most predominant ways to be able to leverage effective marketing. If you want to be found online, content marketing is critical. You need to have a strategy to create content on a regular basis, or outsource it to somebody who knows what the heck they're doing so that they're creating the right content. It's not just enough to say, oh, well, I've got a company that puts 2 blogs on my website every month, um, and just assume it's all good. I mean, they need to be done with a purpose. They need to help you rank, or they need to help you communicate with your target audience in the most effective ways possible. Way too many businesses pay for really crappy content. They buy content that's sold to other people at the same time, so it has no SEO value. And now with the explosion of all of the AI tools that are out there, a lot of people just go out there and press a button after they type in a prompt to Chat GPT and say, "Oh, great! I just got some content written. I'll slap that on my website." That's a mistake. You're going to run into problems. Maybe not immediately, but maybe immediately. Could be bad information. It may not be unique information in the eyes of Google, and so it's gonna give very little value. And it's like you think you're addressing the problem and fixing the problem, and you're really not. So you need to work with somebody who gets all of this stuff, whether it's internal staff that you hire to do this for you, or if you're working with a marketing company. They got to get it and understand what the value is. So in terms of content, I mean, video content's fantastic. Social media posts are a part of that. Blog posts that I talked about, podcast interviews are great. Infographics, there are lots of different things that you could do. Again, you have to think about how all these align with the type of content that your ideal target customers want to receive and where they want to receive it. Content marketing, specifically in this case, I usually refer to that mostly as the content that's going to go onto your website, but not exclusively. You can repurpose content as well. So anything that you create and produce to publish on your website can be transformed and turned into social media posts or videos that you put out there, on key channels like YouTube or all of the other social media platforms. The next one for me is just, it's such a no-brainer. And I'm so frustrated that no the number of clients who get this and do this well and want to commit to this, it just is staggeringly few. And it's the biggest mistake I think most businesses make from a tactic perspective. And that is not to have an email and or a text marketing strategy. Having and maintaining a list of customers that you can reach back, or prospects for that matter, that you can reach out to and get them to come back and support your business, buy again, refer your business, or write a review about your business, is absolutely critical. There are several businesses that literally survived only because they had an email list or an SMS list. You have to do it right, and I think, Paul, we talked about this the other day. A lot of people prejudge a lot of tactics based on their own personal biases and experience. It's like, oh, I hate email. I don't want to. I get so tired of getting all these emails I don't want, or I got tired. I signed up for a text message marketing program, and all I did was get these obnoxious messages from my favorite restaurant. Well, there's a right way to do it and there's a wrong way to do it. And you need you but you got to find somebody who knows how to do it the right way, because it is the difference maker. The strongest return on investment you're going to get is with email and text marketing, period,
Yeah,
bar none.
you definitely have to do it correctly. I just deleted 7 emails while you were talking.
Right.
I
I was
mean,
talking that long, sorry.
oh no, it's just they just keep coming in, and some people. I get why people feel that way, but if you're not obnoxious about it, you don't abuse it. We talked about this over the holidays on one of our podcasts where I actually unsubscribed to some things that I had subscribed to because they were sending me the exact same email 5 and 6 times a day, every single day. That is definitely the wrong way to do it. That will piss people off.
Right. Yep, absolutely. And I think another thing that people don't realize about, especially email marketing, is, just because you send an email and it doesn't go opened doesn't mean that that person that you're sending it to doesn't want to receive your emails anymore. We all get so many emails. I get emails all the time from people that I want to keep getting their emails for, but I'm making a choice, each and every day based on what's going on in my life, and or work, on whether or not I have the energy or the focus, to be able to go and look at that email and do it justice, or it may just completely not be relevant to me. But I know, that the person or the company that sent me that email is still delivering value for me, and I want to stay up to date with that. So unopened emails are not a bad thing. A lot of people freak out and they think, well, it doesn't do any good. Well, you just have to keep sending. Don't abuse it. Don't resend the same dang message over and over and over, like Paul was saying. Keep adding value. And if you're adding value, people read the subject line. They may even read it in a preview panel. You may still be getting your message across. Worst case scenario, you're staying top of mind, and that's one of the most critical things. So, don't let your biases, dictate, that you're not doing email or text marketing. Or the next channel that I think is important, and I think also has so much misconception about, is social media marketing. In the world we live in today, the reality is you've got to post twice a day on a platform like Facebook or even Instagram. Otherwise, the algorithms of those platforms, if you're not posting frequently enough, and really, I think the consensus is probably 2 times a day on those channels, you're not going to have an opportunity to have your content shown. Organic reach is already dropping anyway for businesses, through Facebook business pages or whatnot. You don't want to make that worse by not posting anything. It's a necessary evil. It's just part of the visibility game. You've obviously got to continue to try to post quality content that adds value to people. Social media can play a really big role in getting people to your website. If you're a lifestyle business, it can be a driver for driving significant business for you. And I'm talking organic. I'm not talking paid here. Um, just by posting, like if you're again, a restaurant or a boutique, and you're kind of slow, you could post on social media to say, hey, the next two people that come in, we'll throw in this extra goodie or we'll give you 10% off, as a way to get people in the door. Because if people come in the door, they're probably going to wind up buying more than the promo or the offer that you're giving them anyway. And so you're going to be making that up pretty easily. Um, you've got to continue to maintain visibility. It's as simple as that. Our social media platforms, they're not the same as search engines, although TikTok is, starting to become that way with younger audiences. Um, and we're not going to talk a lot about TikTok because, again, I think that that's a channel that could be yanked at any time due to government regulations. But again, don't prejudge social media just because you hate what you see when you look in your Facebook newsfeed.
Yeah, if you think China isn't collecting and selling your data and doing all kinds of other things with it, you're very naive.
Yeah, absolutely.
But something else is might want to address is paid advertising. It doesn't matter what the well, it matters what the platform is depending on your business, but it doesn't matter what the platform is. They are all using AI and algorithms to try and optimize your campaigns, whether you want them to or not. They're going to do it, and that requires data, and data requires money. So if you're not spending enough, I'm not saying you can't be effective, but if you because we've seen it, especially with Google Ads, the more money you spend, the more effective your campaigns get because Google has more data to optimize with. If you're spending a few $100s a month, your ROI is probably not going to be that good because Google just doesn't have enough data to optimize that campaign. And Google has taken more and more, I'm not sure what the right word, they're taking more and more options away from us, if you will,
Yeah.
and putting more into their AI. They're doing more things algorithmically and removing that ability for you to manually do things. And it's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. And what that means is in order to it sucks for small businesses because it means you have to spend more money to give Google more data. And to your point about search engine optimization, optimizing your content, and a lot of these, you find it really big in the legal world, the accounting world, where they use these companies that cater to that particular industry, and they just put the same content pretty much on every website. And the problem with that, as you alluded to, is there isn't Google isn't going to penalize you for having duplicate content. They're just simply going to ignore it,
Right.
and not give you credit for it and not rank you for it. So that goes back to that's why you have to have unique content and content that adds value. Now, you could take some of those things and use them as ideas to generate unique content, but if you're dealing with one of those companies and they're just basically posting the same content to 50 different websites, whatever it is, like I say, you're not going to be penalized for it. Google's just going to ignore it. It's duplicate content, and you're not going to get credit for it.
Yeah. And likewise, a lot of one of the most common mistakes that we see with a lot of businesses that are trying to do SEO themselves, or they hired somebody who doesn't really know what SEO is all about and how it really works, is they create these things called location pages, and they literally copy and paste, a dozen of these for the key cities that they want to be found in. And then all they do is literally find and replace the city name, on those different pages. That you can get in trouble now. Uh, ranking wise with Google from that, because that's really seen as really horrible crap content that Google really no longer tolerates. So if you haven't made an investment in your website in a while and you've got stuff like that on your website, it can hurt you. And now's the time you don't want to have that kick in for sure.
Yeah, there's ways around this that we won't get into now, but
Yeah.
the other thing is, customer referrals. Put a loyalty program in place. We used to see this all the time with restaurants where, and you still do, is after a certain amount of visits, you get a free entree or free appetizer or whatever, and or have a referral program. If someone refers 3 customers to you, they maybe it's a maybe it's a gift card, to a restaurant or a Walmart, Home Depot, whatever it is. Put some kind of referral program in place, or a loyalty program, and put that in place. Develop partnerships with with other businesses. Maybe you're a painter, and you could have a partnership with an interior designer to refer business back and forth. Put some kind of partnership program like that in place with other local businesses that you can both benefit from.
Yeah, those are great ideas, and they're low hanging fruit that I think a lot of people rush over and don't think about. You can't just slap something together. Again, you want to design something because this is those two things: the partner marketing, where you're building, a distribution channel or a referral channel or a partner channel, whatever you want to call it, from one business to the next. Even if you can't refer them, they may still be good partners for you that you want to create some kind of a relationship with. And like you said, customer referrals are just massive. And they're really, for many businesses, it's one of the most critical things to get right, to survive a tough economy. And they don't typically cost you a whole lot of money. So absolutely take advantage of those. I wanted to ask you about a couple of other paid advertising strategies as well, Paul. Like Facebook ads and Yelp ads, which are two of the most commonly requested services that we get, and requests from clients. Um, you know, you talked a lot, quite a bit about Google ads, but what do you think about Facebook ads and Yelp ads?
Well, it's no secret how I feel about Facebook, but the thing with Facebook, you have to keep in mind what these platforms are. And look, Facebook ads, if you're in the right industry, you can get a good ROI. But oftentimes, Facebook ads, it's a social media platform first and foremost, so it can be great for awareness, top of the funnel kind of thing. We talk about the marketing hourglass all the time. And look, Facebook ads can be great for awareness, depending on your industry. Yelp ads tend to be more intent oriented. People are looking for things. And the unique thing about Yelp, I think, is that it is really strong in certain parts of the country. In other parts of the country, not so much. I think you need to try these things. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you don't know if it's going to work for your business if you don't try it. So I don't think you should exclude anything. That's like what I said about Facebook. I am not a fan of Facebook, but that doesn't mean you should ignore it, because especially if you're a lifestyle type business, it could be really good for you.
Yeah.
If you're an accountant, probably not so much. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have a presence, but it may not be the best platform for you. I don't know how many people are going to go to Facebook to try and find an accountant or an attorney. So,
Yeah.
maybe some people do.
So to get to the accountant, for example, a couple of things that where I know Facebook can work really well for an accountant would be, as you get closer to tax season. Having a presence there where you're just showing up in the news feed. This is, it's simmering on the backs of people's mind. Oh crap, I got to do something to get my taxes done this year. You know, if you have an ad pop up in somebody's news feed, it could work pretty well for you
Yeah.
in that scenario. So you've got to target, and it could be driven by timing. It could be driven by like or interest or demographics. Another one is, we're in spring. This is hail damage season. If you're a roofer, everybody's thinking about every time there's a thunderstorm that blows through. We're in the Midwest here, and there's a lot of hail that's happening, all around the area. And I mean, I always, just me personally, I figure if they got hail 2 miles away, heck, I may have gotten hail too. If you're a roofer, having visibility when that kind of stuff is just in the social consciousness, on a platform like social media can work really well for you. Yelp, is an amazing platform in a lot of ways. It does it work well in rural areas? No. Does it work well in all urban or suburban areas? No, but it does in many of those. And and even with specific niches, it works really well. I think a lot of people think Yelp is just for restaurants. It's not. I mean, we're seeing some really fantastic results for home remodeling contractors, for for auto repair centers, plumbers, electricians. They get ridiculous performance on Yelp. So, and the reason is, Yelp. When somebody goes to the Yelp app, like Paul said, they have strong intent. They're only going to that Yelp app because they're looking to make a decision and find somebody to hire. And so, being visible when somebody's on the Yelp app is absolutely critical. And the ads are absolutely a way to amplify and dramatically increase your visibility on Yelp. So,
Well, it goes back to what you talked about, targeting and seasonality. If you're an HVAC company, you might want to put some ads out there about having your air conditioning checked out,
yeah,
and maintain, making sure everything's in working order, because it's still pretty rather cool where we are right now, but in about a month it's going to start to get really hot. you
yeah,
know
yeah,
so this
yeah,
would be a great time for an HVAC company to put some ads out there about having your air conditioning system checked.
yeah, absolutely. So I've got a couple of other thoughts too that I wanted to kind of share. So, you know, I have to talk about influencer marketing. I don't know that that's particularly great for most small businesses. Again, if you're a lifestyle business, I think you probably are going to have a chance to get more out of it. Um, it is worth merit to take a look at and consider for your business. There's a lot of scamminess out there, and so it can be a difficult road to go down, but it can be a successful strategy. So, just file that away as a potential. Event marketing. So, hosting or sponsoring events, webinars are fantastic. In-person events, people have a real strong desire to get back and do things in person. Uh, Many people do, and so that can be a powerful thing to put in place. And going to conferences and trade shows where your ideal customers might tend to be, it can be a really effective strategy. There's a whole program that you need to build around event marketing to get the most out of those events, and you can't just buy a display and show up and hope that you're going to have good success at the event. You need to plan this before, during, and after, and have a real strategy behind it. But it's a powerful thing that you can think about doing, and it's something that is absolutely waking up again, even in a slower economy. And then, we've talked about this throughout the entire episode here, but, just customer experience. I mean, you really want to try to provide that exceptional customer service and experience so that you're building loyal customers. This is a difficult time for you to lose a customer just because you let them think about another opportunity, working with another company. If you would have just spent a little bit of time and focus, maybe you could have prevented that from happening. And so, just those are some ideas that we had. Paul, you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Yeah, just the whole customer experience thing. It's the customer has more choices, more data, more information than ever before, and the days of the customer babysitting you and getting in touch with you, it's over. If you don't respond to them quickly, if you don't offer exceptional customer experience, they're gone. They're going to go to a competitor. And we've talked about speed of responses, how important that is, and that's another podcast episode, but it's critical. I mean, we live in an instant gratification world, like it or not. And if you don't respond quickly, even if it's an automated missed call text back, even if it's an automated response, if
Right.
you don't respond, they're gone.
Yeah.
And they're gone yesterday.
Well, you talk about this a lot, Paul. The need for a marketing CRM, customer relationship management system. Don't be fooled by the fact that somebody calls their system a customer relationship management system. The overwhelming majority of them are really focused on operations, not on the marketing.
Yeah, and
Uh,
they try to put marketing on top of it.
right. And you might need both. You definitely, for certain businesses, you absolutely need to have that operational system. I'm not disputing that. What I am disputing is the quality of the marketing power that many of those tools have. They're oversold and overpromised, and they just don't perform the way a true marketing CRM works. And if it won't integrate with other systems, you need to run away because they're trying to hold you hostage because they know their system has problems. So
And a lot of times it's something that you pay extra for.
yeah,
So if you're going to pay extra for it anyway, why not pay for a real CRM?
exactly. And marketing automation is critical, as Paul's mentioned several times throughout this broadcast. People, they're okay with an automated response. They just want to know that when they submit something, whether it's a text message through a text widget on your website, they fill out a form on your website, they call your business, they get a response back. It doesn't have to be the end all be all answer. They just want to know, okay, they got it, they responded. I know that they're working on it. That buys you a lot of time. I kind of refer to it as a scroll stopping feature because if you're responding quickly, you're going to keep people from scrolling down and clicking to contact that next business. You want to buy yourself time because, especially in a down economy, you may have had to let some staff go. You may be super busy. You may have to take on job functions that maybe get you out of what you really wanted to be doing anyway, just to, kind of, and until, things kind of sort themselves out a little bit. You don't want to miss the opportunity. You don't want to leak any leads. We're not in an economy where you can afford to leak leads. And so you've got to have a real quality marketing CRM in place.
Yeah, and something like the missed call text back. If someone calls your business and you can't answer the phone and they get that response, even though it's an automated response, that just might be enough to keep them from calling somebody else because they
Absolutely.
got a response saying, "Hey, sorry we missed your call. We're going to get back to you." Now you have to actually get back to them, okay?
Right. Right.
But that might be enough to stop them from immediately calling one of your competitors.
Right. Well, and what happens is it's a dual notification, right? So you respond back to the client or the customer who, submitted the request, the form, the phone call, whatever it may be. And at the same time, somebody in the business is being notified, hey, here's a contact, here's what they were interested in. You can quickly assess whether or not that's a real opportunity or not, so that you can prioritize your response and get back quickly. We actually have people who use the missed call text back feature as a way to screen calls because they get so many. Like right now,
Yeah,
if
it
you've
could be a
got,
great way to ignore the sales calls.
oh my God, between getting your Google Business Profile listing set up, there are so many phone calls placed about that, and they're all bogus. So everybody should be ignoring those. And the other big thing is if you did anything related to the PPC loans that were out there, or any of the other COVID relief programs that were out there, you're getting inundated with calls about the EERC, the Employment Retention Tax Credit that's available. Uh, I, you're going to get dozens and dozens of calls every week just from that. And look, it's a great program. Don't get me wrong. If you held on to your employees and you're eligible to get that, by all means, you should be investigating that. But all of these cold solicitations that probably aren't even real people, they're automated voicemail systems that are sending you messages hoping that they'll get some bites. Um, they're not real customers. They're not paying you money. Um, you filter all that crap out, and you can do something like that with a missed call text back, because you get the quality of the lead. If it's somebody that's calling you to solicit you for business, um, they may or may not leave a message, and so it's going to stop a lot of the time wasting from all of this unwanted contacts that are submitted. So it can be a great strategy. Well, Paul, thanks so much. I mean, this is a topic I think is really important for a lot of businesses. I hope this was helpful for you all. Please don't back off your marketing unless you absolutely have to, literally for the survival of your business. It's the best opportunity actually to come out ahead in the long run if you can continue the course. And like Paul said at the beginning of the podcast, marketing should be seen as an investment, not a cost. Now, there are elements, that are more cost driven than investment driven, like a paid ad strategy, is great to generate activity and bring in business, but it's not a long term investment like an SEO strategy might be. But still, you want to continue to make these investments to help your business kind of weather the storm. Any last thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, just if you're a location-based business as opposed to a service area business, which like a painter is a service area business, they go to the customer. If you have a location that people come into, and you have that storefront, is that an investment or is that a cost? And you need to look at your marketing and your online presence the same way. You've said this a million times that your online presence is an investment, and in this day and age it very well can be your business, and your website is the only thing that you own. Yeah, Google Business Profile is great, but you don't own that. And how many times have people had their Google Business Profile suspended? Same thing with Facebook. If you put everything in Facebook, and there's people that do this, that's pretty much all they have is their Facebook page. And you don't even have to do something, and Facebook just decides to suspend your Facebook page. They do it all the time. Well,
Yep.
now what do? You got nothing.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, on that, I think that's a great way to end it. So, Paul, thanks so much for all your thoughts and ideas. And
Absolutely.
if our listeners would, if you like this podcast, please share it with your colleagues. And if you're willing to, go write a review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast platform you listen to. And with that, we'll keep calm and mark it on. Thanks, everybody.